Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Asad Yaqub and I am from Lahore, Pakistan, and I welcome you to my IELTS reading video, that is IELTS reading inside out. Okay, that's what we are doing. And now we are going to start with section 3. Reading section 3 is gonna be the toughest one. If you are going to come out of section 3 successfully, you are going to get 9 bands out of 9, and I'm going to tell you how to get 9 bands out of 9 in IELTS reading module. Okay, let's take a start. We got the question type. Section 3 is the toughest one. It's very tough, and some of the candidates, they've told me, some of the aspirants who are going to take IELTS test, they told me in section 3 they don't even reach there. They spend all the time in section 1 and 2 and they don't even reach section 3. Now I'm telling you the tips, and you got to practice, and through practice you have to manage your time. Okay, the type of questions we've got here, they are yes, no, not given. Okay, yeah. Remember the difference between true, false, not given and yes, no, not given is true, false, not given checks your ability to understand factual information, and yes, no, not given checks your ability to understand writers' views or claims. Writers' views or claims. Now let's see whether we understand writers' views or claims or not. Let's take a start. Question number 27, please follow me. Much media, encircle media. Got it. We got the clue word media. They cannot change it. Or they can use the word television, newspapers, like that, but they use the word media. Much media comment ignores the impact that video games, encircle video games, although all the passages about video games, can have on many people's life. Much media comment ignores. Media comment, they ignores the impact that video games can have on many people's lives. Right? That's what they say. So we got to see where this answer is going to be. Okay. I found the word media. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you. In the first paragraph, please follow me. Many people who spend a lot of time playing video games insist that they have, and then they say, yet this way of thinking about video games can be found almost nowhere within the mainstream media. Yet this way of thinking about video games, this way, reference word. What is this way? Many people who spend a lot of time playing video games insist that they have helped them. They means video games. See that? They're so clever. They means video games. They have helped them in areas like confidence building. Now you need to underline, they have helped means video games have helped them in areas like confidence building, presentation skills and debating. Yet this way of thinking, what is the way of thinking? That video games help with confidence building, presentation skills, and video games, this way of thinking about video games can be found, yet this way of thinking about video games can be found almost nowhere within the mainstream media. It is not found actually, right? So let's just go back and see. The statement is much media comment ignores the impact that video games can have on many people's lives. That's right. Because people think video games help them boost confidence, presentation skills. What was next? It's confidence building, presentation skills, debating, and the media, they ignore that. So media, much media comment ignores the impact that video games can have on many people's lives. Yes. Got it? See, this smile comes when you easily do the questions, okay? Number 28. The publication, encircle the word publication. It can be book, article, a feature or research paper, anything like that. The publication of the Byron report, now encircle Byron report, that's also important, we'll find Byron report, was followed by worthwhile discussion between those for and against video games. Now underline between those for and against video games. Now for example, If I speak for video games and you speak against video games, there was a discussion between us, right? And here we got to see this thing between those for and against video games. Publication, Byron report. Byron report is easy to scan, quite easy to scan, right? So let's just see where it is. Yes, I got it in the second paragraph, right? Here it's written recently, and by the way, in yes, no, not given, most of the time the questions and the passage, they are in the same order. Means in the first paragraph we found one question, now we read ahead, we find the next question and all that. Recently the British government released the Byron report. Okay, means answer is somewhere around. Into the effects of electronic media on children, its conclusions set out a clear rational basis for exploring the regulation of video games. The ensuing debate, now underline that, the ensuing debate, and there they say followed by a worthwhile discussion. Ensuing debate followed by a worthwhile discussion. These words are for your book of synonyms, right? Followed by a worthwhile discussion. Ensuing debate. The ensuing debate, however, has descended into the same old squabbling. Squabbling means a debate, right? Between partisan factions, the preachers of mental and moral decline and the innovative game designers. Now the discussion is between preachers of mental and moral decline and the innovative game designers. In between are the gamers busily buying and playing and all that. So there is no discussion between the people who agree to play the games or who disagree. Now what's the statement? The publication of the Byron report was followed by a worthwhile discussion between those for and against video games. So this is no, because the discussion was not between these two type of people. And there's another thing they've written here, worthwhile discussion. Now actually the discussion was not worthwhile. They've written here squabbling between partisan factions. Squabbling. It was not a worthwhile discussion. It was a waste of time. So that's why question number 28, the answer is no, because the discussion was not worthwhile between those for and against video games. Got it? Okay, let's go ahead. Next, question 29, Susan Greenfields. Now it's easy to find. Just underline Susan Greenfields. Susan Greenfield's way of writing has become more complex over the years. Susan Greenfield's way of writing has become more complex over the years. Now you got to see writer's views or claims, whether it is yes or no or not given. So let's find Susan. Okay, Greenfields, they've written Greenfields, okay. Greenfield's prose is full of mixed metaphors and self-contradictions. Yeah, this is important. Greenfield's prose is full of mixed metaphors and self-contradictions and is perhaps the worst enemy of her attempts to persuade, right? So whatever she writes, it is full of mixed metaphors, examples, and self-contradictions. She contradicts herself and is perhaps the worst enemy of her attempts to persuade. And then they say this is unfortunate because however much technophiles may snort, she is and articulating widely held fears that and all that stuff. Now let's see what's the statement. The statement is Susan Greenfield's way of writing has become more complex over the years. They don't talk about complexity over the years, because here the main thing is complex over the years, and here they say Greenfield's prose is full of mixed metaphors and self-contradictions, okay, but they don't talk about it being complex and is perhaps the worst enemy of her attempts to persuade, so they don't talk about that. That's why it is going to be not given. Now some of you might be thinking it should be false. It's not false. Read it again. Take the video back a little and do it again. Okay, you can find it. It's not there. Next, number 30, it is likely that video games will take over the role of certain kinds of books in the future. Video games will take future, right? Video games will take over the role of certain kinds of books. Not all the books, underline certain kinds of books in the future. Now we got to see if they say anything about the future, that video games will take over the role of certain kinds of books, whether it is yes, no or not given. Underline the words video games and books, future, role, and all that. Let's just go ahead and we're gonna find it somewhere somehow. So you need to scan for the words like book, and I found it here. It's written, Greenfield argues that there are ways of thinking that playing video games simply cannot teach. She has a point. She should never forget, for instance, the unique ability of books. Books. Now let's see. We should never forget, for instance, the unique ability of books to engage and expand the human imagination. Books can engage and expand human imagination and to give us the means of more fully expressing our situations in the world. The statement says, it is likely that video games will take over the role of certain kinds of books in the future. Not given. They don't talk about books, and they don't say that video games will take the role of certain kinds of books in the future. They only talk about this, that the games and companionable and all that. I read again. We should never forget, for instance, the unique ability of books to engage and expand the human imagination and to give us the means of more fully expressing our situations in the world. Intriguingly, the video games industry is now growing in ways, and that is something separate. About books, they don't say actually that it is likely that video games will take over the role of certain kinds of books in the future. Not given. Strongly not given, okay? Don't be doubtful. Don't doubt it at all. Yeah. See, I actually feel you. I have to have two feelings. One, the feeling of a trainer. Second, the feeling of a candidate, feeling of the student. I feel for you as well, and I realize at certain points that now you will not be able to recognize it. Now you will not be able to realize it. Then I say that. So it's actually not given. Let's go ahead. Number 31. More sociable games are being brought out to satisfy the demands of the buying public. More sociable games where 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, they are playing together. More sociable games are being brought out to satisfy the demands of the buying public. Now let's see where we are going to find this one. So it says here, intriguingly, the video games industry is now growing in ways. Intriguingly, now video games industry is now growing in ways that have more in common with an old-fashioned world of companionable pastime than with a cyber future of lonely, isolated obsessives. Now the statement is, more sociable games are being brought out to satisfy the demands of the buying public. Yes. Games like Ludo and all that, okay, where 4 people play that game. I don't play that game at all, okay, I'm telling you. Some of my friends, they play that game. Okay, let's focus on IELTS. Now you can play games once you get 9 bands in IELTS. Next, 32. Being afraid of technological advances is a justifiable reaction. Afraid, fear, encircle that. Being afraid of technological advances is a justifiable reaction. That's what you need to, afraid, technological advances, justifiable reaction. These things you got to keep in mind, and then you got to scan the passage for that, and you are going to see, so it's written here, no matter how deeply it may be felt, no matter how deeply it may be felt, instinctive fear. Now there they use the word afraid. Being afraid of technological advances is a justifiable reaction, and here they say, no matter how deeply it may be felt, instinctive fear is an inappropriate response to technology of any kind. No matter how deeply it may be felt, instinctive fear is an inappropriate response to technology of any kind. Now for this they are saying, being afraid of technological advances is a justifiable reaction. No, it's not justifiable. Actually he is saying fear is an inappropriate response to technology of any kind. Inappropriate. So that's why question number 32 is no. No. Okay, that's it. Well, if you have had some problems during this video, watch it again. You'll be clear. You'll be 100% clear. Everything is gonna be crystal clear to you. Don't worry about that. And if you like this video, hit on the like button and share this video as well with others. And don't forget to subscribe my channel. As long as you are preparing for IELTS, this channel is gonna help you a lot. I frequently upload new videos, sometimes on the daily basis as well, so you can learn a lot from this channel. And if you want online IELTS coaching, I teach IELTS online through Skype or through WhatsApp. It's a live class with Asad Yaqub. So if you want to go for that, my WhatsApp number is given. You can call me for that. Asad Yaqub wishes you all the best. Take care. Allah Hafiz.